Good morning, everyone. Welcome
Mhm.
back to Hereticals. This is Cults and Conspiracies, and today we are on part 4 of Nexium. This will be all about the actress Allison Mack.
Oh,
Join with me once again for the fourth week in a row now is Claire. How you doing?
hey, I'm good. How are you this morning? Yeah.
I'm a little tired. I actually forgot that we had a show this morning, so I stayed up extra late last night because
Oh,
somebody decided he wanted to download League of Legends. So I was playing that
okay.
and looked over, and it was almost 1 o'clock. I'm like, shit.
So you're telling me you were playing video games?
Yeah, I stayed up
Okay.
playing video games.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's okay.
uh, so
Hey, it happens. It happens.
yeah.
Mhm.
Big shout out to everybody in the chat. Hello, thank you for joining us for another week here. So Claire, we
Yeah.
it's all about Allison Mack today.
Yeah, and she's a hot mess. Like she's
Oh.
yeah, she's a hot mess. And she's a famous actress. She had everything going for her. She didn't really have
Mm-hmm.
much going on in her childhood, except she was a child star. But I don't know. Not exactly. You know, I don't. I can't. I can't explain Allison Mack. I can't. You know what? You would think that like some of the other ones. When we were reading about Saltzman, and
Mm-hmm.
the, how powerful she was and why Keith chose her. And I think Keith just chose Allison because of her connections to all of the Hollywood starlets, and he definitely had a body and style type that she fit. Most of these actresses and the young ones he brought in were, small framed, boyish type bodies. And he would get them down to what, 85 pounds.
Yeah, right. I think 100 pounds was the max they were allowed to go to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
But Kathy Russell, she was 100 pounds, and he got her down to 85. Like he
yeah.
made her down to 85. It was like insane. Um, but yeah, it's
Well, what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna talk about Allison Mack, the early years, and
mm-hmm,
then Claire's gonna jump in and she's gonna talk Allison Mack Nexium. Um, this week's gonna be a little different than the other weeks. We may include some information this week on what she was actually involved in the Nexium part of it.
mm-hmm.
We do have a audio clip with a conversation between her and Keith. That is about um the branding, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is
Yeah.
about how they decided the branding should go.
So I see Chris is in the chat. Chris, if you want to pin a message for with a trigger warning, because there is some stuff that we're going to be talking tonight that
Mm-hmm.
may be triggering for some people. And from here on out, just to let everybody know that's going to be watching in the future or is watching it as we are, the rest of these episodes will have we will be talking about things that may make people uncomfortable. So just being a heads up, there's a trigger warning for this episode and the rest of them. There will be talks about things that will make people uncomfortable. Because now we're going to start getting into the meat and potatoes of Nexium and the sex cult. So just to
Mm-hmm.
give everybody a fair warning, if that's not something you want to listen to, we completely 100% understand. It is not a topic everybody can listen to. Um, but like I said, it's part of the series. It's part of the one of the main reasons we decided to cover Nexium is because of the influence that some cult leaders can have, especially someone like Keith Raniere and Allison
Mm-hmm.
Mack. So, unless you've got, uh, Chris says, Claire, keep Jay in line. Um,
Keep you in line. Oh my gosh, that's a big responsibility. I don't know, Chris. I don't know. I'm not up to my game today. I don't know. I'll try. It's a big.
and there we go. Chris has put it in the chat there. Trigger warning: this episode
Mm-hmm.
deals with issues of assault and violence. Thank you, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I guess we'll get right into it. So we're also one other thing we're going to show you guys in a little bit. We're going to also show you the different actresses and actors that were also involved in Nexium, but weren't involved with the nasty stuff. So we'll get to that here in a little while. But some of them surprised me when I seen who was on the list. So, anyways, it says although Allison Mack is American, she was born in July of '82 in Preetz, which is located in, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, northern Germany. Her father, Jonathan Mack, was on tour there with his opera troupe, and his mother, Mindy, accompanied them. Allison remained in West Germany until the age of 2. Excuse me. The family, including her older brother Shannon, moved to Long Beach, California, just after she was 2, and she also has a younger sister named Robin. Allison started her career at 4 years old, being filmed in an advertisement for German chocolate. Mark continued with another profession as a model, but it was not a serious thing. Also, when she was little, she was forced to do some modeling since her mother believed she was pretty adorable in various outfits. Then the Macks discovered their daughter's interest in acting and put her at the Young Actor Space, a kind of academy for talented youth. The school was located in LA and is famous for its alumni such as Leonardo DiCaprio and Emma Stone. So already, dropping some big names here. Allison Mack started her TV appearance at the age of 7 and featured in some episodes of Empty Nest, Switch to Birth, Evening Shade, and Sweet Justice. I remember Empty Nest and Evening Shade, but I don't remember the other two. But, whatever. That was the 80s, early 90s. Her first significant role was in the series Seventh Heaven, playing a teenager who made a suicide bid. She also portrayed another problematic child in the movie My Horrible Year, which told the story of a girl trying to sort out her life before turning 16. Matt gained enormous popularity after playing Chloe Sullivan in Smallville, the TV show which originally came out on the WB, and then which was fused with CBS into what CW is now. Chloe Sullivan becomes so much adored that she deserved her own show, a spin-off series of the Chloe Chronicles, which were uploaded to the web. She also appeared in young adult books and finally took her place in the comic books. From what I understand, Chloe Sullivan wasn't an actual original character from the comics. It was a character that was introduced fictionally in the TV show that was later became into the comics. We do have a comic book nerd in the chat, Chris. If he probably knows all about that because it's DC and it's comic book nerdy stuff. So, Allison Mack worked with Warner Brothers a couple more times, and in 2006 lent her voice to the main character's sisters in the animated film Ant Bully. In 2009, she voiced a minor hero in the animated movie The Batman and featured Power Girl in another superhero movie. After Smallville, she starred in Wilfred, the FX black comedy, which praises moral values in every episode and portrayed the girl the leading character had feelings for. Now, see, there's the thing. If you look back at her stuff, Wilfred, Seventh Heaven, Empty Nest, these are all wholesome, moral type shows, which is going to completely
contradict
everything we're going to be hearing when we come up into the Nexium part. And then Chris said, yes, can confirm what Jay said. Chloe Sullivan was a Smallville original.
There you go.
According to her, wait a minute, I jumped ahead too far. Hang on a second. But if I for first place for Ron, I don't remember this, and I watched this show. I love this show. It was called The Following on Fox. If anybody hasn't seen The Following on Fox, it's a great show. It starred Kevin Bacon and James Purefoy. It was about a cult leader. It's a really good show. I highly recommend if you can find it, take a watch. It was a really good series. And I think it only had 2 seasons, but it was one of those that 2 seasons, 2 and done was perfect type of show. So if you haven't watched The Following and you're into cults and you like Kevin Bacon and James Purefoy, go take a look. This is something. Excuse me, 1 second. One thing I didn't know is she was regarded as one of the 50th sexiest women in 2005 issue of the magazine Femme Fatales.
Hmm.
She still acts as a simple living girl living next door. According to her Instagram account, she favors such things as reading, knitting, watching movies, and going out with someone that she loves. In March 2003, she accepted an engagement from a man named Peter. Not a lot of information on him. But all we know there is that their romance lasted for about 5 years. So it's taken us into 2008. Allison did deny any serious intentions towards Peter, which kind of makes it weird because you did marry the guy. In 2009, another man was mentioned in her social media. A man by the name of Chad Krawchuk, an actor that Allison Mack co-starred in with his short film The Frog. The couple broke up around 2010. When did Allison join Nexium? That was about 2010, wasn't it?
No, it was a little bit after. She was still taking classes up to 2010. In 2011, she moved to New York. It wasn't until 2012 that she was given the contract thing and told to stop pursuing acting and just be full-time Renier's person.
Okay, because this I asked that question because this is what I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
In April of 2013 was the
Mm-hmm.
time of Mac's second engagement with Sam Witwer. After a 2-year relationship, they parted 9 months after their major announcement.
Yeah. At that point, her family was complaining about the physical depletion of her, like how she actually looked too thin. And in 2013, people were starting to complain about how she was presenting physically to them. So that might.
And something Claire mentioned earlier, I didn't realize I actually had this in my note. In February 2017, her and Nikki Klein got married. But she filed for divorce in December of 2020.
Yeah, and that was at the behest of Keith Raniere.
Yeah, it says the marriage was allegedly a sham to get around the U.S. immigration laws.
Mm-hmm.
To show you just how lovable Allison Mack was in 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. She won the Teen Choice Award for Best Sidekick in a TV Series. In 2005, she also won the Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress. And in 2006, won the Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actress. And in 2008, won the Sci-Fi Genre Award for Best Supporting Actress. So she really had a grip in the music and in the television industry. She had that fame. She had the fortune. She had everything going right for her as an actress. It's one of those careers that you watch and you're going, this girl can go places. I mean, you've seen, just the things that she did and the awards that she won. Mm-hmm. And to find that she gets involved with someone like Keith, it's one of those that make you go, what happened?
Well, remember the clip we played? What was it? Our first episode.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you look at how she looked at him and her body language, and you're going to ask me how? That's how. That's how. Because they just she was so leaning into him. She was so star-struck by how she talked. And everything I'm reading says that she just thought he was the most amazing man when she met way back in 2007 when she took her first class. No, not 2007, even before that. 2007, 2006, first classes. She just is over the moon for him. And while she was pursuing all of the lovely things you said with acting, she was taking those classes, thinking she was empowering herself and other women.
Yeah. Chris says she was so popular that a minor role on a TV show, which Lana Lang was actually meant to be the sidekick, grew into a larger role. Yeah, she wasn't. From what I understand, she wasn't supposed to be in the show for very long, but they liked her so much, that they wrote the character. And another great example, just a little side note here, characters that did so well that were supposed to be a one and done type of thing. If you ever watched the show Justified, Walton Goggins' character on that, which Walton Goggins, the chemistry between him and Timothy Oliphant was so good that his character became the main character alongside Timothy Oliphant. He was supposed to die at the end of the first episode. That was it. It was a one and done, but their chemistry was so well. They just, they changed the whole dynamic of the show. And that's kind of the same thing that happened with Allison Mack. Her chemistry with the other actors and the way she portrayed everything is what kept her character. It's so it just goes to show that you can create something for being, she was that good that she created something that wasn't supposed to be there.
So where are you at with that now?
Sorry, I think I'm getting Raven's cold.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm just getting a little stuffy.
So you're stuffy, and I'm trying to see if my voice is going to hold out. We're some crew. Chris, you're going to need to come up here and save both of us. It's like, it's like I'll give you my notes.
So let's talk about Allison Mack and her journey into Nexium. You said she started in 2007.
Yes, let me give you some deets on this. In 2007, which is about 5 years into her Smallville contract, she takes her first class with ESP, the Executive Success Programs that Keith was running at the time. And she's really, really excited about, first of all, she thinks he's absolutely brilliant. She's head over heels. She takes every class that she can. She starts talking to everyone about this is the best thing for her desire to empower women and to educate women in the ways of empowerment and how to be the best that they can be. She said that even though it had characteristic of a multi-level marketing scheme, she wasn't really concerned about that. She said that it actually had a new ethical understanding of the way that things would be. This is the kind of wording she used. And that a rise to noble possibilities was there, regardless of it. She was so enthusiastic about the program. She actually got her mother to join. She got her own mother to join these programs, and her mother started taking classes and started working her way up too. She looked at it as a way to get personal growth, because that is how the programs were pushed in the beginning. That it was a way to empower yourself into personal growth, and she wanted to turn that personal growth and what she learned with the program into something to empower women. So from the start, Allison Mack enters Nexium thinking it's all about empowering women. She's going to do good. She's going to help Keith make women's programs and help empower just the women in general. Not so much everyone, but just focusing on the women. This is the mindset that she had when she met him. She was quite enamored with him. There's rumored to be quite a relationship between the two. They said in the beginning she followed him around like a puppy dog. She would do anything that he said. And that's quite evident from the way she was looking at him in the clips that we had found in the beginning. That she was just completely thought of him as a spiritual person, like a spiritual leader. She just really, really looked up to him from the start. I mean, he didn't have to do much manipulation at that point because she was just gaga over him. Well, she goes through these classes for quite a few years. And as you said, she's got these acting jobs. She's still working on Smallville. She's got other things going on. Around 2011, she decides, because Smallville ends in 2011, she's going to move to New York City and pursue more acting roles like she did in theater and etc. She was also going to continue taking additional Nexium classes and seminars because she'd be right there in New York. And this is when, in 2011, things start heating up because she starts traveling back and forth to Albany, where Keith lives, to the Nexium home, the big home there. And this is when they said that their relationship started to get pretty deep. She starts to go back and forth, but she's not committed yet to the organization 100%. She's still got her home place where she lives. She's still getting other jobs. She's still working in Hollywood and in theater through New York. Okay. And she gets presented the opportunity in 2012 now to actually pursue Yale Drama School on a full-time basis, which wasn't easy to get. And she actually got accepted in. But at that point, Keith gives her the choice, either go there or come to Albany and be with me full-time here for Nexium. Come on board Nexium. You get to run the programs for the girls. You get to, make a big difference here. You can change the lives of women. And she decided to go. She went lock, stock, and barrel all in with Keith Raniere. She chose to stay to do that instead of drama school, and that's where the turn took. Because at that point, Keith would offer the women that he was with had to sign contracts to be committed only to him, and these were like, term contracts, 2, 5, 10 years, and eventually lifetime commitment to Nexium forever. Okay. By the time, and it doesn't say when she actually signed her contract with him, but it must have been almost immediately, because along with that contract is where collateral is given. And the type of collateral we're talking about is personal information that would severely embarrass a woman, or that you definitely wouldn't come out. Oftentimes they were very damaging to family members or to other children or anyone. For Allison, they were explicit pictures and some video that she turned over to Keith to keep as collateral for her contract.
Yeah, that happened quite often though. There was a lot of
this is where it hints that that's where they get the idea to do this with Das, because he was doing it privately to the women he was in sexual relationships with, committed relationships with, on the sly. And this is before Das starts, okay? Because Das doesn't form until 2016.
Yeah, this is Janus, right? Are we talking the Janus part of it?
No, we're just talking where they did that little sub of the women groups and the little executive programs they were running for them. Yeah, yep. She was running. That's why she came on in 2020. That's what he's dangling in front of her to come over. Okay, so now, it doesn't take long. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I don't want to get too far ahead of this. Wasn't Kristen was it Kruick?
Kruick, she was part of the Smallville team.
Yeah, this is her on the screen now. She was she the one that introduced Allison, or did Allison introduce her?
I do believe they met. They both were. Allison was already attending classes back in 2007. So I think they must have started taking classes around the same time. Neither document that I'm looking at says who introduced who to Keith, just that they both started taking classes around the same time. But Christine becomes part of Nexium, but she doesn't get as involved as Allison does.
Yeah.
Like Allison starts teaching classes and doing all this extra work and just putting in all the time. Like all of her spare time is going into Nexium, even while she was working on Smallville back in 2007 and all. Like she was doing additional things for them, trying to get involved in extra classes and moving up. It appears that Kirsten didn't really take it as serious as Allison did. Like she thought that the classes were good, and she got a little involved, but she seemed to be able to walk away from it pretty quickly. It didn't take as long, either. And I don't see any history of her having a relationship with Raniere.
Mm.
which could be
I
in the difference. Yeah.
I've got on the screen right now as me and Claire are talking. This is just so you can watch body language between the two. This is
Yeah.
Allison Mack with Keith Raniere.
Yeah. This is
Um,
important.
yeah, this is just it's the body language. So as we're talking, watch the two of them. I mean, what they're saying is important, but it's also an hour and a half long. So
Hmm. Yeah.
their interview. But yeah,
Hmm.
just keep an eye on their body language amongst the two of them. So sorry, go ahead, Claire.
Nope. I'm just fascinated by their body language. Like I'm waiting for her to turn around actually to look. What? So we're up to 2012, and she made the choice to join Keith and start teaching the classes. She goes to Albany. She's staying there. She's with him all the time. It took less than a year, like the beginning of 2013. Her mother starts noticing that physically she is just a shell of herself, like she has dropped so much weight. She looked so bad that even there was a film producer and a creative guy, Mark Vicent, one of the people who helped actually bring down Nexium with the article in 2017. He actually went to Keith Raniere several times and said he was extremely worried about Allison and her physicality right now, and wanted to know why Keith was pushing her so much to lose so much weight.
Hmm.
Allison took every word that Keith said seriously. If he said something like, "Are you going to eat that?" she couldn't even touch the food. Like she became, and you can see here, she's quite bony even here in this interview.
Hmm.
When you look, um, she just got down to a really unhealthy weight. She just looked. Her mother became really seriously concerned in 2013. Her brother was starting to make waves too, talking to the mom, trying to talk to Keith Raniere about it. But Allison just kept poo-pooing away. She just kept saying, it was part of becoming her perfect self. It was part of cleansing and moving up to her higher elevation of who she could be. She really believed that everything that Keith was telling her was going to bring her to a higher sense of herself. And she was promoting that to the women in the classes that she was teaching at the time, too. She gets to this weight, and it continues on until 2016. Now, in 2016, she becomes so strange around her family. They're having like a Thanksgiving dinner, and she wouldn't eat anything. She said she was in the middle of a 7-day cleanse and she wasn't allowed to eat anything. But she couldn't even hold a conversation. She was so vacant when they were talking to her. She was actually like losing herself in sentences, like talking a few words and then stopping. And she just seemed like so out of it. And they said it was because she was like starving herself, that she was actually mentally foggy. And then she kept getting texts from people in New York while she was there, and then she just had to leave after that, and the family relationship just completely deteriorated at that time. It should be
Yeah.
noted that part of this distraction that she had stayed, because right then in 2016 is when Keith and her developed DOS, when they started talking and creating about the Dominus Obsequious Soronium, which means like master of the obedient female companions, translated loosely somehow by them. I think they made it up because I couldn't find it in Latin. I tried to translate it from Latin and from Greek. I couldn't do it. It was comprised of only female members, except for Raniere, whose involvement was to remain secret from everyone in Nexium and anyone outside the original group of DOS members that he originally recruited together. Okay. He set it up with so called masters. Some
Hmm.
women were masters, and some of them were called, and then they recruited so called slaves to
Yeah.
join the organization. Miss Mack's involvement with DOS, she first understood DOS to be an organization designed to empower women,
Hmm.
which I don't understand, because when you play that clip, like I don't understand how she thinks that's going on. But
Yeah.
as more people became involved in DOS, Rainier's demands and directives to his slaves started to increase and become a little bit depraved and sadistic, as we have learned about the calories they were allowed to take. He would order the masters to have the women do certain things. They were required, everyone entering the organization was required to give the collateral we were talking about.
Which,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to interrupt you, but this is actually something we're going to cover more in detail. We're just giving you a brief history real quick. We will be covering, and that is in 2 episodes.
Right.
So that'll be in 2 weeks. We'll really do a deep dive into the DOS part of it. But we want to give you guys an understanding. So we're intentionally going to leave some things out, but we want to give you an understanding on what's to come. So
all right. So they believe that the complete brainwashing of Allison Mack happened in 2016 with the start of this organization. That's it. It's where we're going to leave it then in 2016 when they started. I don't know if you, what do you want to go forward with her arrest or no? Do you want me to say?
Yeah. So I'm going to stop sharing this real quick. Before I stop sharing this, look at the admiration and just she's completely awestruck with this man. And that is one of the things that just makes it completely astonishing that someone has the ability to get someone that engrossed in themselves, where they hang on every move, they hang on everything they do. It's fascinating to me that you can actually get to a point where you have so much control over somebody, you can do something here.
But look at the skills that he had. He was a trained hypnotist before he even got into that language program where they're controlling with movement and language everything that someone believes. I mean, it's like, it's like a used car salesman on steroids. Like, he's a monster. He was a monster.
No, go ahead.
No, that's it. He's a monster.
Okay. I'm gonna bring up something here real quick. I want to show you guys. These are actors and actresses that were involved in Nexium, but not in the later stuff. But we just want to give you an indication of who all Keith had roped into this. And then after that, Claire, if you want to talk about the audio clip before I play it a little bit, we'll go into that after we're done here. We have an audio clip that we're going to play between. It's a conversation. It was recorded by Allison without Keith knowing, right?
Right. It doesn't appear that Keith knows about it. Allison makes a statement. You're going to hear Allison make a statement in the beginning of the clip that says what is going to be talked about and who's there and what they're going to talk about. And we are trying to figure out why, she would do such a thing at this stage, because they're clearly talking about the setup is that they're clearly going to talk about how they're going to start branding DOS members when they join.
So we'll get to that in just a second. So, it's been
okay. The women.
You just type in Nexium Actors, and this is the list you get. Obviously, we got Allison Mack, Sarah Edmondson. We have talked about her briefly.
She is very key in how Nexium gets broken down and the charges get laid, because it was her and Mark Vicent and the article in the New York Times in 2017.
If we've got what show she was. She's a Canadian actress.
She's a Canadian actress. She was one of the actresses. There are 4 famous actresses. That would be Nikki Klein.
Nikki Klein right here. There's Nikki.
Yeah, Grace Park and Kristen Krug, Allison Mack, Sarah Edmondson.
Nikki Klein is best known for the sci-fi series Battlestar Galactica. Of course, we know
Grace Park was in that too. Yeah.
Kristen Kurek, Lana Lang in Smallville. Grace Park. You guys will know her from Battlestar Galactica. I know her mostly as Kono from Hawaii Five-0. Really lovely show. We've got we keep talking about these women. There are actually men involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to get everybody to think it's only women that were involved in Nexium. They had men too. James Colin Blue was best known for Showtime series Dead Like Me and The Tudors.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Ames was a model and spouse of Sarah Edmonton. Mark Hildreth, you may recognize him. He's one of those character type actors.
He's a Canadian actor, isn't he?
Yeah, Canadian. The
Mm-hmm.
Dragons, Fire and Ice, we've got Chad Krawchuk,
Mm-hmm.
another Canadian actor. Princess Elizabeth of Yugoslavia
Hmm.
was a member. I don't know how long she was a member for. I didn't dive too deep into that. Linda
And
Evans.
Evans. Yep.
Linda
Sarah Fletcher.
Evans.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't
Mm-hmm.
know who Linda Evans is, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Best known for Dynasty.
Yes.
We have Sarah Fletcher.
Hmm.
Um, another actress. Comedy Central's sitcom Secret Girlfriend. Harvey Weinstein, which didn't surprise me at all.
Mm-hmm.
With a convicted sex offender and whatnot. There is this the one? Hang on, I gotta grab. Do you have that article up from Vanity still?
Mm.
Who Keith tried to recruit?
Who I have the one with the four big pictures.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
It was but it doesn't list. It just has Nikki Klein.
Mm-hmm.
It has Grace Park. It
Okay,
has
that's not, I don't think that's the one I'm talking about.
Sarah Edmondson, and it has Kristen Krug on it. Yeah, and the other one is what's this?
There it is. I'll bring this up. Now, these are people that she tried to recruit.
The one with Emma Stone. I know which one you're talking about. Emma Stone, Kelly Clarkson,
Emma Roberts.
Oh, Emma Robertson.
Emma Roberts, Kelly Clarkson. I'm sorry, Emma Watson. God,
Watson. We're both Emma wrong. Watson. Not Stone.
We were
not
both
Robertson. It was okay. So
yeah, he tried getting, like I said, Kelly Clarkson, Emma Watson. But they weren't falling for his stuff. Yeah, there's there's a tweet from Allison Mack. So you want to talk a little bit on this audio clip before we play it?
Yep, I was saying that it is they're going to be talking about the initiation ceremony, the branding that's done after they have decided to become part of this organization. And it's kind of disturbing how they're going back and forth. But Allison is the one who initiates the recording. She's obviously the one who's holding the device, and she makes a small announcement before. There's also going to be some silences in between. It's like she's turning it on and off, so you're going to hear some quiet, and then it's going to start again. And they're walking, so you're going to hear some traffic, and you're going to hear some feet on the pavement and stuff like that. So she may have been turning it off if there was a lot of traffic or something. I'm not sure, or it's just how it was recording. I don't know, but the gaps are evident.
Just so everybody knows, there's probably going to be stuff in here that will be triggering for people, so be aware of that.
It is graphic. He's pretty blunt about what he would like. And it is going to be about a branding ceremony. So that in itself, and all the things that go.
Just fair warning now, if you don't want to hear things like this, bow out. Like I said, we hold nothing against you. If it's not something that you can handle, we completely 100% understand. Now, I have listened to this recording before, and I know Claire's listened to it. Yeah, it is a little. It'll. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll talk as we go because
like Queen of
yeah,
Spades says, yeah, it's pretty gross.
it is pretty. It's just the calmness that just matter of fact just
Yeah.
kind of chilled me. Yeah.
So, like I said, trigger warning.
Hmm.
Keith and Allison.
Everybody can hear that okay?
What's the date? The 10th. No, the 9th.
You hear that okay?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
coming through to me.
Okay.
January 9th, 6:59 a.m. talking about branding on a wall.
So, I think doing the actual brand in an orderly fashion, each of the 7 strokes, having a certain ritualization, maybe each of the strokes has something that's said with them, and maybe repeated after the stroke is done.
So like somebody says the thing while the stroke is being done, and then the person that's getting it done repeats it afterwards?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, you guys come up with something and propose it to me.
Okay.
Well, because you've done it. So what would have been most meaningful, deep, surrendering, focusing for you?
I think it probably having it whispered in my ear.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see it cuts up a little bit.
Yeah,
But-
just so everybody knows, that is the actual recording cutting in and out. That is not us
Mhm.
on this end. But right there, just coming into this, I mean, a minute into this thing, we've already, I mean, yeah, the branding and then the chanting, you know.
The chanting while it's going on.
Yeah.
Each stroke, have them repeat something. Surrendering, keywords there: surrendering, submission, repeating.
I don't, and like I said, this is since I've never been in a cult. I just, it's the mind control that he has over someone to actually get them to go along with this.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing when it's coming from your twisted mind to do something, but to wrap somebody else into this and bring them into the fold 100%. She is 100% behind this. Except she made this recording, so I'm not sure she was 100% behind it.
And listen how she's answering. Listen to her tone. Her tone is flat. Her tone is, she's kind of yesing him along, and she's not. It goes a little bit more in. You're going to hear more of the and the just yeses. And I don't really see her contributing as much as him. And I'm wondering, because I don't have much at this stage of their relationship as far as video to see how they were relating together. But the way she's talking right now, that is not the girl you saw in that clip 2-3 more minutes ago that we showed you. That is not even her voice. That is not her demeanor. That is not her affect.
She sounds defeated.
And her family is saying that happened between 2013 and 2016. That it actually happened before they organized DOS together. That it is rumored that she is actually the first DOS victim because he practiced all this technique on her. And from what we're hearing, there could possibly be the way she's acting.
Yeah, Queen of Spades said she designed the brand, and
Yep.
Yeah, I think he even says you design it in the thing. If I remember,
it is a combination of all 4 of their initials, AM and KR. It can be turned and be both. It's actually a combination, and it is the bond of them together creating this. That is something.
Freddie McDonald asks, "How do you rationalize to yourself that this stuff is okay? It boggles the mind."
When you hear more, you'll hear her. She's like not rationalizing it at all. She's just like like yeah. There were parts that I wasn't even sure she was listening to what he said.
Yeah. So, we'll continue.
And then me repeating it out loud. And then having it whispered in my ear, and then me repeating it out loud.
Well, ask the others. It's not all you.
Oh, I thought you were
I was
asking
teasing you.
me.
No, I said all of you guys who've gone through it.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just a pause in the recording.
The other thing is, you guys did it and you weren't completely nude because you had a outsider and a guy doing it, whoever. Do you think the person who's being branded should be completely nude?
Right there, they're talking about all of the masters were previously branded by a doctor in a professional setting with no ceremony, but they did get branded to be the masters before they started bringing in the slaves. That's a little chilling too.
Yeah, Queen of Spades
yeah, I was just
says Keith is similar to Charles Manson. When he spoke, people listened and believed. They say he would leave people in a trance-like state, and Allison shows that exactly.
yeah, exactly. She's just not,
No, Krabby, he's not
He's
dead, but he
not.
is in prison.
And he will probably die there. 120 years he's got. So
Chris asked, "What kind of doctor does brandings?" Brainwashed.
one who just lost his license, Chris. I could tell you,
Yeah.
does also face charges for some of this stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, nobody got out of this innocently.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them didn't get as harsh a punishment, I think, as they should, but yeah, nobody gets out of this unscathed. Which that'll be in 3 weeks. We'll go over all the sentencing and the court stuff. So God keep. No, this is just them talking, Belinda, discussing the branding.
Yeah, they're just discussing how they're going to be branding slaves, the new recruits coming in that the masters are going to be in charge of. Yeah. The masters, which were the original DOS members that Keith chose himself, his key elite, they were already branded by an outside physician in a medical setting.
They say we got a big dead air spot here.
Yeah, what's going on? There you go.
The table like a sort of almost like a sacrifice. I don't know if that's a feeling of submission, you know. So. It also, of course, videoing it from different angles or whatever gives collateral.
There's that word.
Collateral.
So probably it should be a more vulnerable position. Back, legs slightly legs spread straight, like feet being held to the side of the table, hands probably above the head being held, almost like tied down, like a sacrificial whatever.
She didn't like that one too much, did she?
No, she didn't seem to be appreciative of that one too much.
It's like, oh, yes. Yeah. Which was nice to hear, Allison, to actually finally something.
Yeah, Queen of Spades says they did record all the ceremonies, which is gross. Imagine Keith watching them.
Yeah, he did. And they did because it would be embarrassing for them later because it was they had to be in total submission during these ceremonies. Yeah. It gets a little bit worse when you see the emotional part that he puts in there. Is there another dick spot?
Yeah. Sorry. My finger slipped. Anything else before we finish this out? We got about 40 seconds left.
No, I just want them to hear this last part because it's kind of crucial to the emotional manipulation when you hear what he's going to make them do.
Person should ask to be branded.
Right there.
Yeah, right. Yep. They should ask to be branded.
Yes. Yeah. And he gives a reason. Yeah.
Should they please brand me? It would be an honor or something like that. And an honor I want to wear for the rest of my life. I don't know. And they should probably say that before they're held down, so it doesn't seem like they're being coerced.
Clever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Those are just thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Queen of Spade brings up a good point about Allison's mental state. At one point, there was a lot of rumors about her being jealous of all of these women, and she was trying to take pleasure in withholding the calories and giving them work assignments, the collateral that was gathered on them. She wanted to make sure she stayed the favorite.
Now, one thing I caught there is the foresight to make it so it seems like they wanted it, so they weren't coerced. It's like he goes, okay, if this ever gets out, we need to make it sound like this is something they wanted, that we did not force this upon them.
Exactly. So they're going to have them say that they want to be branded and commit to them for life, and they're going to video it. So they got it on film, the whole thing. So if when it comes out, they go, "Oh yeah, well here's the embarrassing collateral that shows you wanted this." You know, Manson did stuff like this too. Marilyn Manson, not Charles Manson, but the other Manson, videotaping some of this stuff after to make it look like they wanted things.
So I think we are going to wrap this up here. Because we are really starting to deep dive into some stuff that will be coming here shortly. But we wanted to play this one specifically because we wanted to show you how deep his grips were into Allison Mack.
Because she really did want to empower women. It was what she was all about in the beginning.
The whole Janess. That's what that was. It started with the empowerment, and then you got into DOS, and then into this master slave. It just,
and then while she was teaching, before DOS was created, before 2013, when she really had the physical change and all, I would say before she signed the contract with Keith Raniere to be like his. When she was just teaching classes and all, her mother was there, and she said everybody who found out, I was reading in the sentencing guidelines that the mom made a statement that everyone who found out that she was her mother had nothing but praises to say about Allison, how much she enriched their lives and how helpful she was and how she always wanted to lift people up. And this is how they were talking about the interactions within Nexium at this time, taking these ESP courses and, promoting the company for empowerment and teaching all of the stuff. She had a great reputation of getting along with everyone. She got along with all the women. Everybody seemed to love her. And it just turned dark after she became in a committed personal relationship with him in 2012. It is really speculated, and there is no she does not talk on it enough to make a solid conclusion. But they are inferring that during 2012 to 2013, that he did during this time, use most of the tactics that they used later in 2016 to create DOS on Allison, and that she would have been the model that the whole thing was created after.
Which hopefully that answers your question, Chris. Chris asked, "Is she as much the victim as anyone else?" I would say yes. I would absolutely. She was definitely a victim. But like Queen of Spades said, was a victim that became a predator. So
she did act out. She admits to being quite complicit and to taking care of everything, but she was so guilt-ridden about what she had done once it all came down that she gave great details. She helped with the case, and she ended up, being able to testify they were able to use all of this information to increase Keith's sentence, and she pled guilty to a much lesser charge, and she did get a lot of support. She's got in her sentencing stuff, like, I don't want to go in great detail, but she's got a lot of family support, friends, people that worked with her, even members that got out of Nexium sent letters of support for her.
Yeah, we've got which we'll cover during the trial and the sentencing episode.
Mhm.
We've got her statement to the court that we're going to read out when we get to
Mhm.
that episode.
I do. Yeah.
Expect that episode to be a long running one because there's a
Mhm.
whole lot running into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I want to just mention Raven's comment, because I do agree that, manipulating a victim into becoming an accomplice does not actually take away from the fact that she was a victim. It is clear by the physical changes of her well before DOS started that she was a victim of Keith Rainier. 3 years before they even started this DOS organization. So, yeah, she gets victim. That's primary number one. She was already twisted, broken, and he was in complete control by 2016. It has started, well before that, 3 years before it at least. So she's a true victim.
That wraps up the players in the
Mm-hmm.
cult. So we've talked about all the major players before and during.
We talked about all the major players that got charged.
Yeah,
Because there's two major players that I'm all excited about. Do you know
and
who they
that
are?
we'll be talking about a little bit tomorrow and tomorrow next week, and then definitely during the court processing. You're talking about Edmund.
I'm talking about Sarah Edmund and Mark Fasant. Yeah.
So those will be. But next week's episode, we're gonna actually take a look at Nexium itself, what the structure behind it, how it came about, what it actually is, and what it stood for, and then how it went from that into the DOS. Now, I want to make it clear. Not everybody that was involved in Nexium got involved in DOS and the sex cult, because there are a lot of there are almost the whole DOS was a very small select group involved in that completely. I mean, there were people that were in Nexium that had no idea this was even going on until the trial hit. Until Keith was arrested. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, what?
And it kept going on after, right? Because Nikki Klein was running it while Allison's under investigation, and so was Keith.
Yeah, so
and Nikki Klein was keeping it going as one of the masters. She did the text relays and stuff. Yeah.
So there's a lot. There's actually a lot behind Nexium itself, but the it gets wrapped up so much in the sex cult part of it that you forget what else it does. So we're going to cover that part next week. The following week is the one that's probably going to trigger the people the most. That is where we're actually going to deep dive into DOS and the branding cult. I do not recommend anybody watch that one if you are highly triggered. There will be talks of all kinds of different things that may cause problems. We will try not to get too graphic. But there are some things we have to talk about that will be trigger warning for those. And then the following week after that is probably going to be the longest episode we're going to have on this, which will be the final episode. That will be the arrest, the trial, and the conviction of the Nexium members.
Is that when we're going to do Edmonds and Vissant, like right before?
Yeah, that'll be
part of that in the
part of that. Yep, that'll be part of that because that'll be.
Was that article? That article happens before the investigation even starts.
So we'll probably start with that, and then that's will lead into the capture and the sentencing and all that stuff. But me and you, we'll talk about how we're going to do that one later. Because like I said, that was probably going to the longest running one because there's so much to do in that one. And that'll be episode 7.
Now there's some other. There are some other videos if anyone is interested on about Allison Mack. There's some pretty creepy things that she did to honor Keith and stuff like that. And I just want to mention, we have Queen of Spades here in the chat, and she did give us a shout out, Jay, when she did hers last Friday.
Oh, thank you.
Allison Mack. So thank you very much, Queen of Spades. And she has quite a few informative videos. And that one I'm speaking of with the creepy videos of Allison Mack, it was from last Friday, and it's on her channel, and it's like bizarre. Like, that creeped me out, Queen. I know it creeped you out too. Like, that's why I didn't bring it to Jay to play, because I was like, no, I got this like weird. She's still like doing a drama class, and she does this song for Keith, and she looks like like she's like mesmerized. Like, it's like really weird. But she did give us all a nice shout out. So if you want to check out some more coverage, because there's so much, everybody has information.
There's no way we can cover everything that needs to be covered. So
and she shared this one too. Thank you, Queen. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. And her channel is just like it said right there. It's like Queen of Spades. If do you have that right click thing? I know I do on mine, that you can find the channel for the. But anyway, there's very good videos. She did it in just individual on the drama. Her being in New York on the stage for the drama, like a theater presentation that she was in. It was like,
so Friday is Six Pack. Friday's Six Pack is the Christmas episode, which will also be the last episode of the year.
No more Six Pack for the year.
I believe the next episode after next week will actually be the 7th of January.
Okay.
If Chris is still in the chat, he should be. Maybe. Is there going to be a pre-show this week, Chris? If you're still in the chat, can you give us a holler? I don't know for sure if there's a pre-show this week or not. But yeah, Six Pack, which starts at 7:30. 7.
I saw 7.
I think it's set for 7. Chris says no pre-show.
No pre-show. Okay. So we see you all at 7. All right.
Yeah. So no pre-show, Six Pack Christmas episode. I am collecting social media funnies for that one, all based around the Christmas holiday. So if you got some of those, get them to me. If you don't have my information, get them to Claire. I'm sure she can pass them on for some of you.
I'll pass them on. Yep.
Claire loves that stuff. Like I said, next week is the deep dive into Nexium. Unlike Six Pack, Cults and Conspiracies will continue every week. I am not taking a break from there because we want to get this finished. Like I said, we got 3 more episodes in this series, so it'll be a 7-part series. So we got 3 parts. It's the longest one we've done. It probably will be the longest one we ever do. So much. And then I'm looking for a conspiracy theory.
You actually think you could do Scientology in less than 7 episodes?
Yes.
Wow.
I actually do. I actually believe we could do Scientology in under 7.
I can't. Let me tell you, I can't do a Scientology law case in less than 7. Have you seen what those lawyers do? Like, my God.
Good, yeah. But I am looking for a conspiracy theory or a conspiracy story or anything like that to do after we're done with Nexium. So if you guys got something you want us to go over here on Hereticals, let me know. Claire, what do you got going on this week before we wrap this up?
Oh, let's see. This week, this afternoon, I have an Am I the Asshole with Jack of Hearts. That should be pretty funny at 3:00. And then Thursday morning, I have a nice holiday stress talk with Dina Danzig on the special pressures that are put on children that may be on the spectrum or with special needs, or adults with long-term disabilities around the holidays, and just some tricks on how to alleviate it and things that we can do. It's always a good conversation. Friday, I'm over here, I believe, in the morning. Well, something about Six Pack, something like that. Then I go to a panel at 4:00 on whether cancel culture exists. And I'm going to use Chris as an example.
Cancel Chris. I like that idea, Chris. I reckon we do the McCartney died and was replaced conspiracy. I like that one.
Well, can I tell you what I'm most excited about, Jay?
What you got going on?
Friday night, I get to bring back to life That Time of the Month over on Cheshire Vic's channel. And I just got a spot over there as one of the female panelists for That Time of the Month, once a month over there. Again, we're going to start doing that. And it'll be the first one, and then can hopefully continue it for the rest of 2022, hopefully, So that's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
We've got a number 8 for no pre-show from the Krabby Hermit.
And Sandy, I'm sorry, there's going to be no mayhem this week either. Like, the Bear's going to retire mayhem for the week. I just can't.
No, Freddie, we haven't covered Teal Swan. I know very little about it.
Does it have a legal?
It's not something I know the name, and that's really about it. I know Teal was internet famous YouTube cult leader type thing, I think, but that's about it.
Well, Freddie, I just wrote it down, so we'll do it.
And now we got a number 42 for showing that comment.
There you go. Well, you should have a 42 all the time anyway, right, Sandy? Is like coffee hating Jay. Oh, my God.
So, for everyone here at Hereticals, for myself, for Chris,
wait a minute. Do you see that comment? Like, how come a cult leader is never good?
I had to finish reading it. I'm like, what?
Yep.
Scapegoat asked, how come a cult leader is never good? How come they don't actually make a paradise like Jonestown, but without the crazy paranoia and death? They're always the bad guys.
Because they're cult leaders. That's all I can tell you. Because if you're a cult leader, it's part of the job. Like, that's it. Chris, wait, do you know much about the Raelians? Wait, I'm writing that one too. What are they? Are aliens? Wait, I don't know. Are you playing with me, Chris? I'm writing it down. No,
there's actually 2 different. Okay. Now, here's the thing with that one. There are actually 2 different Raelians. Yeah, there you go.
Cultist Paradise. Okay, the Heretical Cultist Paradise.
So there you go.
It is. And he's our exalted leader right there. That canceled Chris. That number 8. That perfect, always the arsehole number 8. Is our leader. He's our leader.
So for everyone here at Hereticals, I am Jay. Chris is in the chat. Thank you, Claire, for showing up. Until next time.
Thank you for showing up. No, I'm laughing good. Thank you for showing up. It just struck me. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
So thank you all for showing up. Thank you. Have a good day. Be water, my friends.
Oh, yes, please. I know, Bear. Have a good one, people. We'll see you later. Bye.